Burma, welcome to another video. Today I want to share with you all the books I have read in the month of April. I read a total of 6 books and I DNF'd one book. DNFing is something completely new for me. It was something I didn't do for years. Even when a book was dragging and I was really not enjoying myself, I kept on reading because in my mind, an author had put his time and all his fantasy in a book. And who was I to put that aside and not acknowledge all the effort that went into it? But this year, I have started to try to DNF when I'm not enjoying myself because with a TBR from over 250 books, I don't have time to put into books that don't really jive with me. The book I DNF'd was A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair, and I'm not completely sure if this is a permanent DNF or a semi DNF. What's the difference? Permanent DNF is I'm throwing out the book. I'm throwing out the book. I'm selling the book or I'm gifting the book to the library or to Goodwill. But I'm not going to read it. I'm very sure I'm not going to read it. A semi DNF is I don't want to read it at the moment, but I might put it back on my TBR shelf to try it another time. Sometimes that works. Years ago, I DNF'd. I'm not sure which book it was, but I DNF'd the book during my pregnancy with my oldest son. It was my only DNF that year. I just couldn't get into it. And then 2 years later, I picked the book up and I absolutely loved it, gave it 5 stars. So sometimes I just want to, I'm just not in the right mood to read something like this. This is A Touch of Darkness. It is a very hyped book at the moment. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling, something I absolutely enjoy, absolutely love, and this is a really literal. It's not really literal because it's set in a modern setting where Hades owns a nightclub and Persephone goes to the nightclub, makes a bargain with the god of the underworld, and now has to create life in the underworld. And then she travels to the underworld, where she is set to the task of creating life in an otherwise dead underworld. And of course, the two fall in love. We all know the story. I have actually read about 100. Yeah, I have read 79 pages of the book, and I just couldn't get into it. It felt, and this is gonna sound silly, but it felt a bit I don't know. The story just didn't sit well with me. It was very easily written. I didn't like the Hades character. I couldn't find connection with Persephone. I do. The only thing I really liked was Hecate. She meets her in the underworld. I really liked that. But for at this moment, I just couldn't put my time in this book. I couldn't. The next book I read, luckily, was a very, very good book. It was Joe Abercrombie's The Blade Itself, the first book in the First Love trilogy. I started this series much, much earlier than I anticipated because I wasn't really on the cards for the coming 2 years. But Mike from my book reviews is such, he loves this series, always talking about it. And I was really curious and I loved it. I was swept away by this book. If you want to know my in-depth spoiler-free thoughts about the blade itself, I will try to link my review up here so you can get my impression and my thoughts on this first installment of the series. There, absolutely loved it. Highly recommend. The next book I finished is a reread for me. Is Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I am reading the Harry Potter books to my 7-year-old son before bed, and this is the first. Of course, this is the first one. This is the first one we finished together. For me, it is a revisiting of Harry Potter. I grew up with Harry Potter. It's nostalgia at first sight, but my son really, really is obsessed with it. He loves Hagrid. He just had his birthday and he asked for Harry Potter Lego, Harry Potter action dolls, Harry Potter everything. He even asked for glasses and a wand to play Harry Potter. So he is really bitten with the Harry Potter virus. Not sure how far I'm going to read the series to him now because he's only 7, and the first and the second one are very child proof, but I'm not sure how deep I'm gonna get into the world of Harry Potter because it does get darker as the books continues. But still, loved reading them to him, loved seeing him enjoy it, and I even enjoyed it. Once again myself. After Harry Potter, I decided to pick up Andrei Sapkowski's The Last Wish. I also have a review for this one coming up, or it's already posted. If it's already posted, I will link it up here, and else it is coming in the foreseeable future. I had set my mind on reading the Witcher series before the TV show, but I started the TV show and while not reading a book, and now I saw on Gerard Butler's Instagram that the second season has wrapped up, and I really thought now I need to read the books before I watch the second season. So I started with The Last Witch. Really, really enjoyed myself with this. This is a introduction. It feels like a sort of introduction to the world. This is small stories set into Witcher world. It's my first real literary meet up with Gerald and the Witcher World and Dandelion, and actually I really really enjoyed it. I have a full non-spoiler review also for this book on my channel. Then I needed to step away from fantasy for a few minutes, and I did that with Well Played by Gianluca. Last summer I read Well Met. I absolutely loved it. This is a series set at a Ren fair. So every year there's a Ren fair in this village, and there are two are out now. One is in the market to come out this year. Um, we're following a couple or a girl who works at a Ren fair, and she meets the love interest. It's romance, but I absolutely love these books, and I know Well Played. A lot of people struggled with this. I understand why, but I personally didn't. Well Played, we follow Stacy, who is the best friend of the main character Emily in the first book. She's the best friend. They are tavern wenches in the Renfair together, and Stacy has been a tavern wench for years and years. Ever since she was allowed to participate in the Renfair, she has been there, and for years she has had a summer fling with one of the singers of a band who plays at the Renfair. She has a secret crush on him, and one drunk night after the Ren Fair, she actually sends him an email telling how she feels about him and if he is interested to take it further than just casual sex during the summer. And from there, the story takes off. I understand why people struggle with it because it has some catfishy elements. Because I'm not going to say too much, but yeah, it's actually on the back, so it's not really a spoiler, but Stacy finds out later that the man she has been emailing with isn't the man she thought she was emailing with. So there is this catfishy aspect that goes on longer than it really should have been. I also think when it comes out that the guy she falls actually in love with lied to her and pretends to be someone else, she really is very she stays mad for like 10 minutes, and I was like, you could have given him a harder time. Another comment I hear about this book is that it has not a lot of Ren Fair in it, and I actually don't agree with that. It starts with the Ren Fair, there's the Ren Fair in the middle of the book, and eventually there's also Ren Fair at the end of the book. So is it set completely in the month of Ren Fair? No, there are parts in between, but I still got my Ren Fair dose that I needed. I really, really enjoy these books, and I'm looking forward to the next book in the series. I really enjoy these. As to wrap up the month, I decided to start with Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, and I just got dragged in so much that I actually finished it in 3 days, so that it was still wrapped up in April. This is the second book in the first Law trilogy, and people who know me know I don't binge series. So reading two books in the same series in 1 month says a lot about how good this book is. Um, It's hard to say something because, of course, it's the second book in the series, but I will do, I think, a series review when I finished the third book, and that won't be very long because it is on my TBR. In the next 6 books I'm going to read. So, all in all, this was a very enjoyable reading month, apart from the one DNF. What have you been reading? Have you read any of these books? Have you read A Touch of Darkness, and do you feel completely different about it than I do? Is there a reason to give it another chance, or do you say, nope, it's really as horrible as you think it is at the moment? Um, Let me know in the comments, and I see you in the next video. Bye!